You with Andrew is back, baby. Been playing that one all day. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And that's right. Today, we're taking another step into the EU. I don't know if we said this
We did.
on air. Did I say this? Have we talked about how this is going to be happening more frequently?
Yes, and it was my idea. You said that on air too.
Yeah. That's right. We're doing one a month, and this is September, and we're doing it right now. So, So we it's actually really funny that this worked out this way because I was planning to do this next episode on Revan. I'd been planning that for a while, and it just so happens that they announced the Knights of the Old Republic remake and confirmed that. So
Buy a
really
PS5
pumped.
today.
If you can find
one.
one.
Wait. You said you bought a PS5?
No, I said buy a PS5 today.
You can't find them, and that game's probably not going to be out for another 2 years anyway. So
True.
Well, it's kind of stupid because I'm one of the minority of people that plays Switch.
you can play Star Wars Hunters.
Yeah, Star Wars Fortnite. That's gonna be great. But anyways, that's not what this episode's about. All I'm saying is I love I played through KOTOR once, but I really played through it, and I loved every second of it. It's my favorite Star Wars game of all time to this day, hands down. And it's really nice to see that it's getting a remake. Because people have been wanting that for years and years and years and years. So, if someone that makes decisions is watching this on YouTube or listening to the audio version, please, it doesn't even have to be a fully remastered version. Just give me a port for Switch. Give me the ability to play it on Switch. And
Maybe a port
even
of
if
the
it's
old one.
Huh?
A port of the old one.
Yeah, they have it on mobile.
True.
They have KOTOR 2 on mobile.
One
just
on
put
mobile.
it on
I have one on my phone.
Oh, you have one on mobile?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, see, just put it on Switch.
I think the mobile one is 1 and 2 combined.
Dude, okay, why have we not gotten it on Switch? I don't even care about the updated graphics. Just let me relive the swoop bike racing in all 360p and
It's pretty
all
rough.
Anyways, but all that to say, we're talking about Revan today in today's installment of EU with Andrew. But first, at the time of recording this, it is September 21st, and we are less than 24 hours. I don't know how many hours we are.
we're like 8 hours away.
8 hours away from the drop of Star Wars Visions,
Yes.
which I am stupidly excited about because I'm an anime fan.
Me too.
And so we're going to be probably all binge watching that tomorrow in our own ways. And then next week, next Tuesday, we will be back with some Visions content. We don't exactly know what that's going to look like yet because we have to watch it and then decide how to break it down. But Visions content is coming, so stay tuned for that. And speaking of Visions, Jeremiah apparently has an announcement.
True.
Yeah.
For
Big
us
surprise announcement.
Big surprise announcement.
Maybe it's not as a big deal as I'm making it, but I think it's a big deal. And you guys I want to see your reaction. It was supposed to be last week.
I was going to say, to be fair, we've been waiting for this for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be last week, but then Drew couldn't make it because of his kid and it's all that stuff. So
Sorry. Jeez.
I took a liberty and I did something that I've never done before, that both of you have done, and have encouraged me to do.
Oh.
And you've talked about it on the podcast, and I just have to like sit back and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But since we last met,
You had whiskey.
no.
Oh.
Oh.
Coffee.
I binge watched
Oh.
all the Harry Potter movies.
Oh!
Oh man, hold on. I need to do something just for you, Jeremiah.
Is it gonna be
Wow.
static?
No, it's
Damn.
not gonna be static. I'm making sure that it works. Jeremiah, this is just for you.
Dude, wow.
Okay, this is just for you.
I'm proud of you, Jeremiah. How was it?
Yeah, what did you?
You want my honest thoughts about this whole series?
Maybe not.
I
There's some good things and some bad things. I'll say. How about that?
yeah.
Is that fine?
How was the first one? Did you like the first
three
one?
movies, complete and utter trash.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
Okay.
Terrible
whoa.
movies. The first three movies were just terrible. I did not enjoy them really at all. But moving forward from the fourth movie on, I actually started to enjoy them. So there's that. And I would say that Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 were amazing. Like, I was almost crying in Part 2.
Yeah. Heck yeah. you
Wow.
were.
So, like, I was on the edge of my seat for both of those movies. I could definitely tell that all the movies, or all the books should have been made into 2 movies each. Because there was a lot I could tell was skipped over because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff did not make sense. I
love how Jeremiah is like, yeah, I could tell they left a lot out. Has never read the books.
Well,
But you're right. You're
I'm right. Yeah.
You're
So like I could tell. I'm like, there's this stuff that didn't make sense. Like it was just moving really fast, and like I had no idea what was going on half the time. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I was going in thinking it was gonna be more of a visual spectacle of magic, and it wasn't. Like there's only a few like big scenes of like fighting, and that was like the end of I keep thinking like episode 4, episode 5, but like the fourth movie when we see Voldemort fight Harry for the first time, like that was like a big fight. Then we see in Order of the Phoenix, Dumbledore versus Voldemort. Like there's that. So like there's only a few of these big spectacles so I was kind of disappointed in that. But when we did get them, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind that, I mean, they really grew into, this isn't a Harry Potter podcast, but they
Yeah,
really
what
grew
are we-
into the VFX
Right.
for
right.
these movies, you know.
There's a
and-
reason
and
why
this-
they want to redo them.
and it spanned over the course of like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like,
I think it was
It's like 12.
no 2001 to 2011.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, 10 years. It was like a decade.
Yeah.
It was a long span of time. I mean, like, all of the actors and actresses like basically grew up. Like their growth period was spent, you know, doing these
Right.
movies.
And I like that the actors' ages were appropriate for their role. Like
yeah,
it wasn't like the first 2 Spider-Man things were like it's like a 25-year-old guy playing a 16-year-old kid. Like,
Yeah.
So I appreciated that and seeing them grow together. I thought that was fun.
Well, we can. Who knows? Maybe not that the fan base is here for this. Maybe now that you've done this, maybe we'll have an episode, like a special, super special, extra episode on the Harry Potter movies or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it can be like a special event when we've got some time to kill or something. Or I don't know. My wife is a huge Harry Potter fan. Like she is to Harry Potter. Probably not to the same depth, but she was like way more into Harry Potter than Star Wars before we met, and so who knows? Maybe I can convince her to come on and share her thoughts as well. But yeah, there is a lot left out from the books.
Right.
Well, isn't there
'cause I saw-
characters left out too?
Yeah, but I saw the movies and then started going through the audiobooks, and I was like there's scenes in the first movie, in the first book, and that are left out in the first movie, and I'm like, wow. Like, I get why they left them out, but they're like full. Like, it's not like a deleted scene where you go back and watch it in like the special features, and it's like, this didn't really add anything. It's like, no, it's like a full. It's like a whole thing, a whole ordeal.
The one question I have though is, in the fourth movie, the guy that dies at the end, that gets killed by Voldemort,
Spoilers.
Did he have more story in the book?
Yes.
Because he died and I didn't care. Like,
yeah, he did.
he didn't do anything in the.
You didn't care?
No, because there was no time. There was like he was in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Dude, Cedric.
Nobody cared.
That was Twilight before it was.
I know that guy was from Twilight, but like
Robert Pattinson.
He died, and I'm like, am I supposed to care about this guy? Like,
yeah, no, I get that too.
Like, if it was like Neville or something, like I would have cared, because like he was like there for every movie. Like,
oh, so Deathly Hallows Part 2 happens. You were probably like flying off your couch when Neville did what he did.
Yeah.
When he became the man he was.
I don't understand why they waited to blow the bridge. They should have blew it up right away.
Okay, but still,
I didn't get that.
Anyways, we're getting.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Harry
that
Potter
Neville,
with Jeremiah episode.
I'm happy that Neville and Luna were a thing at the end of the movie, though.
Yeah.
I might. This is a hot take. I think Luna might be my favorite character in Star Wars. Or in. Harry
Whoa.
Wow.
I like her.
And Jeremiah's not the one drinking whiskey.
Nope.
And he had just slipped out. Luna might be his favorite Star Wars character. I love Mrs. Weasley. She's not my favorite character, but Mrs. Weasley is.
She's that mom that everyone wanted.
Yeah. Anyways, you're not here to
No,
listen.
yeah, I don't know what we're doing right now.
But
I'm back, guys. If you guys were wondering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Drew's back.
It's been like a hot minute, but.
Yeah, he had a baby.
I did.
And right before we started actually recording this episode, we got to see the baby, little Miles.
True.
So my question is, have you tested his midichlorian count yet?
I have
Or
not.
has
Well,
the Jedi-
we have, but we're still waiting for it to come back.
Oh, they're probably pretty backed up.
Yeah, it's during COVID with
COVID
all the extra
pandemic, yeah.
babies and people not working, So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's hard to,
sometime this week we'll figure out if we get to keep them or not. Essentially,
staffing has been down at the Jedi Temple from what I've heard. So
Yeah.
you just gotta wait.
I can't even imagine if that was like our thing. Like, oh, by the way, you don't get to keep your kid anymore. Starting like next week.
Yeah,
Like that is such a
You went through all
depressing
this work.
thing.
Drew's life has changed. We just got a subtle picture of how
I couldn't
your life has
imagine.
completely
I would
changed.
not let that happen.
Yeah,
I would not let
Drew
him
would
be the
fight him.
Jedi that he was supposed to be. Let's just say that.
All right. So, like I said in the beginning, we're doing EU with Andrew. We're talking about Revan today. Revan is definitely top. If I were to like go back and restructure my list, I mean, he was in my top 5 for sure, but I would say he's probably top 3, if not higher. Maybe number 2. EU Luke is still my number 1, but he's one of my favorite characters. So it was a lot of fun, and I actually learned some things about Revan researching this episode that I did not know. Specifically about his life post the book. So this is kind of a good segue. Revan is, for those of you that don't know, is a character that was introduced in Knights of the Old Republic, which was the Star Wars game, critically acclaimed, has one of the best like reveals in video game history, kind of akin to the Darth Vader "I am your father" reveal in The Empire Strikes Back. And then there was later, there was Knights of the Old Republic 2, and then there is a Revan novel that continues his story post Knights of the Old Republic. Obviously, that's Legends as well. It's a great read. And here's your warning. If for some reason you've never played KOTOR or you've not read the book, this is your spoiler warning, because we are going to be 100% covering
That's why I'm kind of disappointed, because they announced the game, and I'm like, I want to play the game and know the story, but now I'm going to be spoiled, but that's fine.
True.
Well,
Jeremiah, are you on like a sign-up list for the PS5 or something?
No.
Oh.
Are you gonna buy a PS5?
eventually.
Yeah, he
Oh.
will. He's PlayStation all the way.
Yeah.
I just hope that they announce that it's going to be on PC, so then I don't have to buy a PS5 because I don't.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be on PC and Xbox,
Yeah.
but it's like a timed exclusive.
Correct.
It's not gonna be a PlayStation only thing for good. I think you'll get it.
Yeah.
But that's another reason why I'm angry that it's not on Switch, because everybody seems to include the big boy consoles.
Well, I think it's the graphics. It's what they're doing to the game.
Okay, that's fine. Like if they wanted to do it in Unreal Engine like 50, that's fine. Just give me a port. I said it once, I'll say it again. Like I'll deal with the crappy graphics. I just want to replay that game. But anyways, so this is your spoiler warning for Knights of the Old Republic, and the Legends Revan novel, both of which tell great stories. So you have been warned. So I thought about just covering the Knights of the Old Republic in the novel, but that wouldn't be any fun. So we're gonna go all the way back. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning and cover a little bit of everything as it applies to Revan and his life and the things that he did. So let's go ahead and get this presentation started. For those of you who were here for the last one, there was not a presentation. This time there is.
Let's get it.
I am sharing my screen.
Watch screen.
Can you confirm that you can see my
I can
screen?
see us.
I can see us.
Great.
Uh-oh.
Still see us.
No. It's because It's because I've got it full screen.
It's like
Hold on.
Inception. It's a presentation within a presentation within a presentation.
Obviously, I'm gonna cut this out later, but there we go. Can you see my screen now?
Hey!
And if I hit present, can you see it?
Hey!
There it is.
All right, we are in business. Okay. So EU with Andrew, we're just gonna jump right in.
I like your thing that you put up there.
Definitely not trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna continue to be a thing. It's in all of my presentations at least once. So, EU with Andrew, who it was Revan. So this is your all inclusive one stop shop. If you have no idea who Revan is, hopefully by the end of this, you're gonna have a really good idea. You're gonna get for sure like a 30,000-foot view of his overall character and the events that surrounded his character. But also, hopefully, you'll learn some really interesting details as well. So let's dive in. Part 1, early life and training. Also, Jeremiah, this is for you. Definitely not trash.
This is gonna be on every slide.
No, it's not. I actually got rid of it. It was on every slide, but I got rid of it. And I also want to go back and make it known that I think it's really funny that you thought the first 3 movies of Harry Potter were trash, which is almost half. So at least you're consistent. That's good. All right. So the man, later known as Revan, was believed to be born in the Outer Rim territories around 3994 BBY and went on to learn under many different Jedi Masters as a Padawan, both in the Temple on Coruscant and the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine. During these studies, he became fast friends with another Padawan named Alec, which...
Your last name Trebek?
No.
Ah.
Yeah, so I just think it's funny, the two names of this character, Alec, and then the other one that we're going to be introduced to that he turns into. It's just not very original. Like, the transition wasn't original, but it is what it is. So he became fast friends with another Padawan named Alec and was described as having an insatiable desire for knowledge during his youth. While some masters discounted it as being a youthful trait, others were uneasy seeing this desire manifest. It was also said that while he was a Padawan, Revan trained... that's not supposed to be the case, but Revan studied uncommon force powers like force bonds, which is a link between two force users to a varying degree of strength in the Force, and that's kind of it. Like I looked into Force bonds, and it's like it's just a link. It's apparently more of a rare thing, but especially now that we have it in canon as like a dyad in the Force, that's like being a dyad is essentially the most powerful form of what that is.
Okay.
Sometime before the year 3964 BBY, Revan and his friend Alec both achieved the rank of Jedi Knight. Revan was well known as a powerful and charismatic Jedi within the Order, though he was always seen as superior and more intelligent to his close friends. So everyone liked Revan more and thought he was more powerful. So, yeah, any questions so far?
From the previous screen, I see that you still used planet Earth as a.
Okay, Jeremiah.
Wait, what?
You still use planet Earth for your red planet as Africa right there?
Okay, it doesn't matter. Thanks, Jeremiah. It doesn't matter.
He's one of those students.
All right,
Also, chat, everyone's taking notes, just so you guys know. So if you have a pop quiz, Andrew.
Teacher, you forgot to hand out your homework for tonight. Was I that student?
Yes, you were.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't.
Were you the one that was like when the teacher forgot to take up
The
an
quiz.
assignment? Were you the one that was like, hey, you forgot to take that up? Did you do that?
No.
That's good, because I would have reason to be angry at you for like 4 seconds.
Okay.
And
But
then
that's
he
good.
would encounter you and ask for all your notes because he didn't take any.
No, I definitely took my own notes.
Oh, well,
But
that
I
would
was
be
also
me.
The one that was like, I was also the one that was like, I'd rather watch Doctor Who or Avatar: The Last Airbender than study or like complete my homework. I had a pretty good work ethic though. I mean, like I did this.
I mean,
This
true.
presentation.
You did that. You did
know.
this. You graduated.
Yeah, I did.
I
With a
didn't do
degree in
that,
music.
so.
It's not the most academic degree.
Hey, but you're living your best life right now, so that's
No,
all.
I
that
am.
matters.
I
That's all that
definitely
matters.
I look down. Boom Bakarna says, Riley says, what is studying? Well, if you don't know at this point in your life, just
God
keep
bless
looking.
America.
God bless. Okay. So we're moving on to part 2, the Mandalorian Wars. All right. In 3964 BBY, so like 30 years-ish later, the Mandalorian warriors began an invasion of the Outer Rim, beginning the event known as the Mandalorian Wars. Revan became enraged at the Jedi Council for their refusal to support Republic troops with their involvement and began speaking out in protest. Revan believed that the Jedi Order should be aiding the Republic troops and leading the charge to push back the Mandalorians. He was labeled the Jedi's own crusader by the larger media and soon began to sway like-minded Jedi within the Order to his cause. Alec being the first, he's the friend that is going to play a pretty big role in his story, as military and civilian casualties began to rise. To all those who joined him, he was honorarily called their master. And then the picture here, for those of you that are watching the video version, this is him addressing the Jedi Council. Yeah, so this is interesting because it reminded me, Jeremiah, of our conversation from last week on what the role of the Jedi should be in the greater galaxy and in the events that happened or that happen in the galaxy. And I thought it was interesting that a big part of his story is that he was outspoken in saying that they should be more involved.
Right.
Because, I mean, to be fair, the Mandalorians just kind of started making their way in from the Outer Rim to the core. And all of a sudden you have this threat that they need to be unified against. And so it is interesting because this would be a situation, going back to that conversation, where I would say their involvement is relatively warranted. I wouldn't say the whole Order, like we saw in the Clone Wars, or most of the Order, but at least a good amount of Jedi to defend people and secure a victory. But it's interesting because unlike the Clone Wars, the Jedi Council was like, nah, we're not getting involved. They can do their own thing. But like I also mentioned, the Republic had a military at this point,
Right.
which was one of the big defining factors that we talked about. So, anyways, one interesting note that I want to make sure people get is that to his followers, he was not the rank of master, but he was called their master honorarily because of his views and because of his leadership. So,
Interesting.
yeah. Eventually, Revan and his followers traveled to the war front against the High Council's wishes to scout out the enemy lines. Shortly into his campaign, he left Alec and most of his followers on the planet Surja, where they were captured in a Mandalorian ambush. Revan returned to the Jedi Council with his findings, labeling them as disturbing, but was told once again that the Jedi had no place in the war. He was told, however, to go and rescue the captured Jedi instead. The Jedi were eventually rescued. Side note, it wasn't by him, but that's another story for another day. They were eventually rescued and resumed campaigning with Revan, and that definitely autocorrected from Revan to Raven. Thank you for that autocorrect. Who is now publicly deemed by the Republic as a crusading savior ignored by the Jedi Council. So there was a pretty big media aspect to this, because obviously the war is in the eye of the public, right? And this was definitely one of those situations where him acting out as a Jedi and doing something very much against what the council wanted him to do definitely gained the public's eye and attention of the media. So he was labeled as a crusading savior ignored by the council. He also became known as the Revankist, the leader of the Revankist movement of Jedi Crusaders. So, yeah. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so, obviously, there's a lot, and this is going to be much more of a summary. There's a lot of detail. If you go to, like, Wikipedia and type in Revan, his entry, not only do they go step by step through the Knights of the Old Republic game, but they also have an incredible amount of detail for these parts of the story. So, obviously, if you know more about Revan than you're hearing in this episode, please understand that it's there. I acknowledge that it's there. There's no way I could incorporate it all into this podcast episode. We'd be here for like.
This is the movie version.
Yeah, this is the movie version, not the book. So, yeah. So the Revankist continued to intervene in galactic affairs as a subset of the Jedi Order, and were eventually condemned by the Jedi Council. So it's worth noting that Revan had a substantial following, and they were out there like doing stuff on their own. One example is like there was like a weapons dealer that was trying to sell off these weaponized creatures to whoever wanted them. And like Revan stepped in and basically had his followers assured that they didn't. Oh, it was space slugs from The Empire Strikes Back. They had weaponized those,
Fun.
and he had his followers step in and basically assure that they did not become a problem, because a few of them had Force visions that they would be the ruin of the galaxy and all these things. And so like they were acting. Governing body would be too strong of a word, but they were definitely intervening in like major things that the Jedi Order would intervene in, but without the blessing of the High Council. So obviously that was a problem for the Council when they have people out there doing what they're doing without their say. So unbeknownst to Revan, Alec, who was now known as Captain Malak. So he went from Alec to Malak.
Wait. Isn't there a Darth Malak?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same?
See, there you go. Any eagle-eared listeners who might not know the full story but know of Darth Malak, that should ring some bells.
Is that next month?
No, it's in this episode.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get there. So Alec, who is now known as Captain Malak, spoke out against the group to the council, to the Jedi Council, and was sent back to Revan with one final warning to stop what they were doing. So he actually spoke out against Revan to the council, and the council was like, okay, go back and tell them they have one more chance to stop this or else, essentially. However, when Malak returned to the Revankist, he was followed by a group of Jedi Masters who confronted the Revankist on the planet Cathar. During the confrontation, Revan found a Mandalorian mask underfoot and picked it up.
Ooh.
All the Jedi in the area suddenly shared the same terrifying Force vision: the genocide of the Cathar, which just the people of Cathar, at the hands of Cassus Fett, who is not a direct descendant, but in EU, it is the same, for sure, the same clan as Jango and Boba.
Ooh.
Revan was enraged and put the mask on, which was the mask of the female Mandalorian who tried to stop the massacre in the vision, vowing not to take it off until the Mandalorians were defeated. So, fun fact, Revan's mask is the mask of a female Mandalorian.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he picks it up. They all have that same Force vision, and it shows it's this vision of the past where the Mandalorians are, especially under the leadership of Cassus Fett, just wiping out an entire people group. Some of the details are that they basically cornered them in the ocean, against the ocean, and then Cassus ordered. So he kills the female Mandalorian because she tried to stand up to him, and then he orders his. I guess would be his battle cruisers in space to fire on them, and he just wipes them all out.
Ooh.
So it's
Question.
Yes.
So, what exactly is the motivation on the Mandalorian side and what they're doing?
Okay, we will get to that.
Okay.
We will actually get to that. That's actually a really good and a very relevant question. But for now, just know that they're attacking the Republic, essentially.
Okay.
Disturbed by the vision, the council begrudgingly allowed Revan and his followers to officially enter the war as a group of healers or a mercy corps, though they quickly began fighting the Mandalorians openly on the front. So the other Jedi Masters that were there, they experienced the vision. They can't deny the evil. They can't deny the events that took place, and they're moved to say, okay, well, we can't officially send the order into the war. We're not going to do that. Is there another way we can do it? And Revan's like, hey, actually, in the old Sith wars that we had just fought a little while ago, a few hundred years ago, the Jedi were actually sent into battle at some point as these healers, and that's a loophole. So we're going to send, if you'll let me and my followers go in as, quote, healers, and then we'll be a part of the actual Republic military. So they get the approval to do that, even though the council isn't 100% on board, and they go in as healers, but then they're like, screw this, we're going to fight.
I was thinking of Ahsoka was an advisor on the Siege of Mandalore or something like that.
Yeah.
She wasn't from the Jedi Council. She was just an advisor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a similar situation. So Revan and Malak achieved amazing victories, and Revan was known as a skilled and capable military leader. And it does go into detail on a couple of these victories in the Wikipedia page. It's very, very much worth reading, but I couldn't include all of them in this. As a result, the Chancellor Tol Kressa deemed him supreme commander and placed a third of the Republic military under his control. So that kind of backfired into the faces of the council, but he became a huge military leader. They began to push the Mandalorians back, but did so at all costs, meaning large sacrifices of material and resources began to be made to gain the upper hand, and Revan and Malak adopted a cold and calculating disposition, unlike their fellow Jedi and much like the Mandalorians they were fighting. So this is kind of the part where we slowly begin to see Revan and Malak turn. So they're not turning towards the dark side actively at this point, but they begin to adopt ideologies and mindsets that are very much not the Jedi way. So just make note of that as we continue.
And the group of Jedi are alongside Republic troopers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So the Mandalorians are fighting. Obviously, it's a large group of Mandalorians. So this is a point where, and I didn't stress this because this isn't about the Mandalorians. This is about Revan. But the Mandalorians were like, I think, even more so in Legends than they were in canon. Like they were even more prepared and more skilled and more equipped and more powerful of an enemy than they even are in canon. And so like for the Mandalorians to attack the galaxy, like it's bad news, and it's a huge threat. It's an actual huge threat, because I mean you think of like every single soldier being as skilled and as prepared as Bo-Katan. It's like that's not good,
Right.
So obviously that's one of the reasons why Revan was so fired up and trying to get into the fight, because like really and truly the Republic troops were losing pretty badly. So yeah, he and his followers, the number is never really disclosed, but it is said that he did have a substantial amount of followers. I would imagine they would be something along the lines of like the military leaders or the generals that we see in the Clone Wars, because there were not enough of them to create their own army or anything like that. Yeah, so but because of the fighting, you start to see Revan and Malak slowly begin to kind of slip into some more dark side actions and mindsets and stuff like that as they make decisions. At some point during the next 2 years, Revan and Malak stumble upon some ancient Rakatan ruins near the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine, and entered after being tested at the entrance. Though Malak cautioned Revan against doing so, the two entered and discovered a star map, an ancient relic that showed part of the way to the location of the Rakatan space station known as the Star Forge. Later, Revan discovered another star map, and during his search for more, stumbled upon the Treyas Academy of Sith Learning on Malachor 5. It was here that he began to learn from the dark side knowledge contained in the temple, and where he also exposed Malak to it for the first time as well.
Is this the same Malachor from Rebels?
Yes and no. Could be. I don't know if it's an actual link or not, but this Malachor for sure there was a Sith academy on that. So really quickly, in an event or in anticipation to answer your question, I'm sure you're probably wondering who were the Rakatan, right? Or the Rakata. Is that a question at all?
Yes.
Okay. I was just gonna take a quick moment here to go through and just kind of briefly do a blurb about them. But I gotta find my resources. Because I want you the listener, and everyone watching on YouTube or Twitch to have the most accurate information. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
You're just teaching us so well, Andrew.
Am
You
I
have no
really?
question.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had it
Professor
and then I
Andrew.
lost it. Where'd it go? All right. So that everyone is on the same page. The Rakata were an amphibious humanoid species native to the planet Lehan and were, according to legend, the first to develop hyperspace travel. Stories also told that the species eventually became extinct as a result of corruption from the dark side of the Force. The species shared its name with the historical Rakatan Infinite Empire and the mystical antiquities known as the Rakatan Wraith Boxes. Basically, they also enslaved people
Well,
to a
that's
very
fun.
large scale, and so they were evil. They were evil. They were dark side users, and they were the first to, in legends, to figure out hyperspace travel. So it made them huge.
Did they cook a lot with ricotta?
I surely hope so.
Ooh.
Don't boo me.
I was thinking about something similar, Jeremiah. You kind of beat me to it.
It's spelled differently.
But
It's
it
not
tastes the
ricotta,
same.
It's rakata. Huh?
Oh, what?
What?
Nothing.
But it tastes the same. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll use that for a Coruscant Cafe video.
Ooh.
Oh, you should bring a little bit of legends into
My kitchen.
Into your kitchen. Yeah. I mean, that's what we try to do here. Is we try to bring legends into your kitchen. I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's funny because I'm in my kitchen right now. So like.
Wow. That's crazy.
Anyway.
All right, back to the presentation. We're gonna jump back in here. Okay, so basically they found some Rakatan ruins, and they found what's called a star map, which is a piece of the map to the location of the Star Forge, which is an incredibly powerful weapon that builds it essentially. If I'm dumbing it down super low, it is a weapon that builds fleets and weapons and stuff like that at a great rate.
Interesting.
Yes, which is a huge advantage for anyone who wants to, conquer the galaxy. Anyway, so Revan continued to learn the dark side, but did not completely denounce his Jedi teaching either. So he's in this kind of gray Jedi. Like, he acknowledges the benefits of the dark side, but he does not completely forsake his Jedi teaching.
So is he like consciously making wanting to learn the dark side, or is it kind of like he's passively by accident?
No, it's pretty conscious, because remember, they were talking about how, like, when he was younger, he had this insatiable desire for knowledge, and I think once he started by researching the kind of uncommon force abilities that the light side had to offer, and then obviously he stumbles upon this Sith knowledge, and he's like, this is really interesting, and I can learn a lot from this. And so I think it's more so like he understands what it is. He's not committing to it as like a Dark Lord of the Sith to that level, but he's also not shying away from it either, because he sees its value.
Right.
So he's kind of in limbo at this point, in between the two sides. So he continued to learn the dark side, but did not completely denounce his Jedi teaching either. He continued to fight the Mandalorians alongside Malak and his followers, culminating in a massive, drawn-out loss on the moon of Duxon. In an attempt to draw the Mandalorians out and end things once and for all, Revan ordered the construction of the mass shadow generator, which is another super weapon, which would serve as the centerpiece of an elaborate trap for them. Mandalore the Ultimate, the leader of the Mandalorians, was defeated by Revan in a fight to the death, and in his last moments told Revan of how he had been manipulated by a red-skinned Sith into starting the war in the first place. During the naval battle led by General Mitra Surik, who is a pretty important character in his story, the Shadow Mass Generator was activated. Revan and Surik watched as countless Republic and Mandalorian ships were slammed into Malachor V's crust, fracturing the planet to its very core and killing thousands. After the defeat, the Mandalorians surrendered to the Republic. So essentially, when the mass shadow generator was activated, it used the planet's gravitational forces against everything in orbit around the planet, and essentially drew them in at a rate that was so powerful when they, impacted with the actual planet's crust, it fractured it to its very core.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
so another super weapon. Fun stuff there. Obviously, what I just said was a huge oversimplification of the battle, because there's in typical Star Wars fashion, there's a whole naval battle happening in space while Revan is fighting Mandalore, the Ultimate. But the key points is that Mandalore, the Ultimate, challenges him. They fight one-on-one. Mandalore, the Ultimate, actually kind of holds his own pretty well, but Revan ends up defeating him and taking his mask. Because, as we'll see in the next slide, the mask of Mandalore the Ultimate was essentially the same thing as the Darksaber. It's kind of the thing that everyone rallied behind and signified that you were the Mandalore. Essentially.
Like you were in charge because you had the
Correct.
mask. Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm looking down at the chat, and there are definitely some people in here who know about this story and are talking about it already.
Funny.
All
How many
right.
people do we got watching tonight?
Yeah. How many, Drew?
Right now it's 8, but it's been up and down all night. So
Cool.
All right. Part 3, The Rise of the Sith.
duh.
You guys ready?
Did you not have that button queued?
The dun 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 button?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had the dun dun
Well,
dun
you
button.
should.
All right.
There. Well, copy Drew's little
Thank
soundbite
you.
right there.
Dude, I had to do all the sound bites, I swear, for this. Like,
You're our own soundboard.
I know, apparently.
Like, why do we even pay for the soundboard? Why don't we just use Drew?
Wow.
Drew,
okay.
push your buttons.
Duh. All right, Seth, let's go.
Yeah, I just looked down, and David had said the mask belonged to a fallen female Mandalorian that was killed unjustly. Revan wears it in memoriam. Yeah, I went over that part.
Dude, you know what would be cool is that they should make a Black Series helmet of that.
Of Revan?
Yes.
Dude, I already have the lightsaber. Thanks.
How'd you get that?
I was literally about to give credit where credit is due, and then Jeremiah, how'd you get that? It was thanks to you, Drew, and my lovely wife.
And Jeremiah.
And me. It was
That's
my
what I
idea.
No, that's what I said. You, Drew, and my lovely wife.
Oh, I thought it was like you drew.
Yeah, I
one-
thought you just gave me credit. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. I look down. Tanner says you're missing one of the sabers, though. You're right. I am missing one of the sabers. And fun fact, I think that's Tanner's way of flexing because he has the other saber.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But either way, I think the helmet would be sick. I would buy it because.
Oh yeah, dude, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Would you though?
There's some pretty good replicas out there too. I was ironically looking to see how much it would cost to get a somewhat legitimate Revan costume for Halloween.
Ooh.
Jeremiah's laughing, but long story short, I think my wife and my in-laws and we're gonna go out and actually go out into their community and hand out candy and stuff and kind of do reverse trick or treating. And they were like, "Well, we gotta
Dress up.
And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm doing this halfway. I'm not gonna go and get a Darth Vader costume with some fake muscles on it or something from Target.
No, you're gonna go all out. You're gonna cosplay it.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm gonna I wasn't gonna completely commit to fully cosplaying, because on one end you have the 501st, who does
Which
an
I wish I
insane
could join
job.
them one day. That'd be so
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, it was you have the 501st and they spend thousands of dollars and all this time and effort. It's I can't do that, but I definitely don't want to go and get the Mandalorian costume from Target. This is I wonder what the mid ground is. It's not cheap. The mid, you can get a relatively nice Revan costume
For
for $200. But then the helmet, if you want the full helmet and it's already painted, so you can get like an unpainted one, an unfinished one for like, I don't know, $180. But the second you're like, oh, finish it for me, I don't want to do it myself, it's like $250 or $300.
So it's like $400 for the whole set.
Yeah.
At that point, you might as well just cosplay it. That's like a full cosplay.
Right.
Like
Right.
$200 more, and then you get the belt that goes with it, and then you're fully cosplay. Because it's not like he doesn't have like a bunch of armor essentially, right? It's like mostly cloak.
Well, there are some armor pieces, and there's definitely some somewhat intricate leather work that has to go into it as well. But like, I mean, you're right. The base of it is.
It's not as in depth if
cloak.
you were like gonna do a full like Mando outfit or like Boba outfit or something like that.
Yeah, I thought about it, but then I'm like, what am I gonna do with this the rest of the year?
Put it in get a full mannequin and have it behind you all the time.
See, that is more money.
Just saying, that'd be so
money than I
sick.
You could be like those kids that wear their Halloween costume like every day. Like go to Target wearing your Darth Revan costume, and
I had well, I mean, that would make for good social media, for sure. Like I could just start a series where Darth Revan just does normal things.
Revan goes to Target.
Revan goes to the post
I would
office.
watch that. I'm pretty
goes to
sure the
McDonald's.
chat would watch that too.
You should like do it in character too, like what he would do. So it's like,
Revan goes through the drive-through at McDonald's.
Goes to the drive-through.
That'd be
Revan does
so
his
sick.
taxes.
Well,
All
no,
of these,
that's
like,
not
super lame
that's just
things.
as boring. But the drive-through would be funny.
Yeah, but no, I can't do that right now. Maybe one day when we make it big and Jeremiah wins the lottery.
Speaking of that, Powerball is at 490.
Oh, it's
million
getting
right now.
there.
So
you're only 10 million off.
I'm not gonna buy a ticket. So if it doesn't win tomorrow, someone doesn't win tomorrow night, I'm buying that ticket for
then your
Saturday's
boy
drawing.
is
And then the Mega
going to-
Millions is like 437 or something like that. So
We're on the way.
Here we go again.
Here we go. I'm looking down at the chat, and David said go to the local strip mall and take pics with kids. No kid would know who Revan is.
Also,
there'd be a bunch of like 30-year-old guys like.
Yeah, it'd be like,
yes.
is this Luke Skywalker? Is this Rey? And then I have to, and then because it's me, there's no way I'd take the picture. I would explain it.
Yeah.
To them. And all of a sudden they're standing outside of freaking Best Buy, getting a whole EU with Andrew episode. Nobody needed that, but they got it anyways. So
You just refer them, or just have this episode playing in the background everywhere you walk.
I could bring a Bluetooth speaker with me.
Yeah, there you go.
Just get the boombox on your shoulder, make it like old school.
Oh, true. That'd be
80s.
dope.
Revan with a boombox. I feel like there's a parody rap or something in there.
Oh, you make the video and post it on YouTube. There you go.
Yep, I could. Anyways, so any questions thus far about Revan?
No.
No.
Oh, one question: is his lightsaber white?
What?
No,
Is his lightsaber white?
No,
In pictures, it looked like it was white.
it's purple.
no, it's purple. He has a purple and a
Because
red.
remember, it's purple and red.
Yeah.
Oh.
The lightsaber that we purchased for Andrew.
Well, we got him. I thought it was a Darth Revan saber, so I thought.
But it also goes light as
yeah,
well.
I mean, so he had a purple saber as a Jedi.
Okay.
He also had a blue one at one point, and then obviously he has a red one.
So did he have a blue kyber crystal and a red kyber crystal, and then he put them together and made the purple one?
No, he had the purple one first, Jeremiah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe he had that first, and he accidentally broke the kyber crystal and broke into two. One was red, one was blue.
That's probably
rhymes.
what it was. Oh, it did. I'm glad that Jeremiah knows his colors.
All right.
Anywho.
Moving on. Okay, so remember, the Mandalorians have been defeated.
Yeah.
The Shadow Mass Generator was activated. Bunch of people died on both sides.
Yep.
We're post the Mandalorian Wars. In an effort to make sure the Mandalorians never rose up in the same way, Revan held on to Mandalore, the Ultimate's mask, as it was like the Darksaber. So, again, he just held on to it to make sure that no one could gain that power. The Mandalorians broke up and soon became mercenaries and bounty hunters. It was during this time that Revan constructed the assassin droid HK-47 to selectively assassinate targets to make sure there was not another war. So I've talked about HK-47 in my droid
Wasn't that
section,
your droid?
Yeah, one of my
One
favorite
of your
droids, yeah.
favorites?
Yep. He's also a main character in the game. Really funny character.
Speaking of lightsabers, real quick, David said in the
Yes.
chat that his blue went to red, and he got the purple one. He got it after he became the Sith.
Huh. I could have sworn he had it before, but I could be wrong.
So
Anyway,
did he go purple once he went good again?
What? No, it was already purple.
So he had two? I'm confused.
Yeah, he has two. He had a purple and a red, or an amethyst and a red.
All right.
That's why my Funko Pop that I have,
That I got you, too.
has,
Mm.
yeah, thanks, Drew.
Mm.
He has two. And that's also why my lightsaber, the Revan lightsaber that I have, changes colors.
That makes sense.
So did HK-47 use an AK-47?
Okay.
I
As long
assume
as
they
it was
were
a
holding
legendary.
gun.
As
In a-
long as
in
it
a-
was a legendary. No?
Yeah,
Okay.
he in a galaxy full of energy-based weapons. Actually, though, fun fact: slugs, so like more traditional bullets, were actually more deadly against the Jedi.
Right. Yeah, I've heard
So,
that. Yeah.
it's not that far-fetched, I guess.
Why is that? Because they couldn't block
Because
them?
Yeah, they traveled faster than lasers,
Oh.
and so they could kill Jedi more easily. Because you can't block something you don't see unless your precognition is really good. But if you're just like a regular Jedi Knight and you just got the rank of Knight and you don't really know.
So
what you're
are you
doing,
saying if you had a slug shotgun, you could kill more Jedi then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day, folks.
There it is. There it is.
I
Okay.
like how he says that about that, but nothing else that you've said tonight. Like he hasn't learned
Well,
anything.
not yet. I'm waiting for it.
Thanks,
Okay.
Drew. What do you
Okay.
mean not yet?
That's something I would say at the end of the episode. That I learned something new
Oh,
the whole episode.
Okay.
Like, I didn't know that he had a female Mandalorian helmet. That's super dope. I just thought he just wore a helmet. See, I learned that today too.
You know, like a lot of the other people in Star Wars, they just wear helmets.
I mean,
Yeah.
trooper. That it's a thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Okay, yep. He created HK-47 to selectively assassinate targets to make sure there was not another war. It was also during this time that Mitra Sulik was left bereft of a connection to the Force because of the devastating effects of the mass shadow generator. So her and Revan were there. Think about the effects through the Force. If you were there, you're very powerfully Force sensitive, and then you feel through the Force the thousands of people dying. At that close range. So this isn't like Obi-Wan just felt the Death, or not the Death Star, felt Alderaan from halfway across the galaxy. Like they were there. So it got her pretty good. But soon Revan and Malak continued into the unknown regions to confirm whether or not Mandalore the Ultimate had actually been tricked into the war. So obviously Revan finds out that Mandalore the Ultimate was tricked, and then that just opens up a whole nother door, or like it's basically like a Pandora's box situation of like, wait a second, if he was tricked into doing the war, somebody's behind this, and we have got to figure out who it is because there's a greater threat out there. So one clue led to another.
Ooh, that guy.
Yes. Everyone who knows who this is will know that this is Vitiate, and we'll talk about Vitiate in a second. One clue led to another, and the two Jedi found themselves on the planet Nathema, which was completely barren of a connection to the Force, and no connection at all. It was here that they learned the story of the Sith Emperor Vitiate, who 1,000 years earlier in 4999 BBY led the Sith of the time in a ritual that left Nathema barren and him immortal in an effort to uncover the Sith threat The search led them to the world of Droman Kos, which was the secret homeworld of the reconstituted Sith Empire. Revan and Malak posed as mercenaries in an effort to gain information about the Sith and soon learned of a plan by the Emperor to invade the Republic. Instead of taking the information back to the Republic, the proud and overconfident Jedi decided to confront Vitiate themselves. Upon entering the throne room, Vitiate quickly dominated their minds, completing their turn to the dark side and anointing them Darth Revan and Darth Malak. He sent them as the vanguard of his own invasion of the Republic, instructing them to find and employ the Rakatan Starforge.
That's interesting. Because I've seen the game trailers where this guy's in it.
Yep.
And so those games parallel.
Okay.
So how
you have to understand that Vitiate was alive for thousands of years,
oh
or at least 1,000 years.
Wow.
Actually, the ritual actually made him immortal, or seemingly immortal. So the thing
but
about
he wouldn't die of natural causes. He would have to be killed.
oh, correct.
He'd be an elf.
And then the caveat is that killing him was disgustingly hard. Like he makes Palpatine look like a youngling comparatively. Like this dude was in the expanding universe, you could argue the most powerful Sith of all time. Like the fact that he like Revan and Malak and like Revan wasn't a pushover at this point. Like sure he hadn't achieved the rank of master, but that's because he didn't have a Padawan. Like Revan was fairly powerful at this point, and they just walked in and he just died. Like they didn't even get to attack him. Like all of this was done through the Force, through their minds. Like they walked in, boom, they're done. Like they didn't even get to attack. And he's that powerful. Vitiate was known for like straight up controlling people, like through the dark side. It just controlled them, made them basically bend to his will. So he was disgustingly powerful. And it's actually funny that he's not talked about more, but the reason why you see him in the cinematics for that game and in other places is because he lived long enough to have many forms, essentially. So
interesting.
Yeah, he was no joke. Definitely no joke. So, during the search for the remaining star map pieces, Revan continued to grow in the dark side and even created his own Sith holocron in the temple of Naga Sadao.
Of course he did.
Yep, where they found a star map. In 3959 BBY, Revan and Malak were able to triangulate the location of the Starforge in the Lehan system. Their ship crashed, and they found themselves among two lost tribes of the Rakatan people. Through the use of treachery and cunning, he basically double-crossed both tribes. Revan tricked his way inside the Temple of the Ancients and gained access to the Starforge above the planet. Revan and Darth Malak broke free of the Emperor's mental control and established their own empire with the Starforge, an ancient space station of great power that had been built by the Rakatan species. So they broke free of the Emperor's control, but they still adopted the mandates of the Emperor through his control as their own ideas. So they weren't directly under the control of the Emperor. However, they had been so heavily influenced by him that they continued to be Sith Lords and basically continue trying to do the thing that he sent them out to do, just of their own free will. Which you can argue, is that their free will? But basically, that's what happened.
I got a question. Something
yes.
I'm confused about. So, can you go back to the previous slide, maybe?
Sure. Yes.
the barren planet was barren of the connection of the Force.
Correct.
And is this where Vitiate controlled their minds and turned them into Sith?
No. So
Did I? Okay.
the planet that was barren in the Force was the site. They visited there and they learned the story of Vitiate, and that was the site where he created what was essentially the first like thought bomb type deal, but it made him immortal, which is why the planet was barren. Fast forward 1,000 years, there's another planet called Droman Kos. That is, Droman Kos is like the expanded universe version of Exegol. Like, in fact, it's also covered in storms, like thunderstorms, essentially the same way.
Okay.
Um,
I was just confused because I was like, I thought there was no Force, so how could he use the Force? Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're correct. So 1,000 years later, Droman Kos,
okay.
it's the seat, the secret seat of the new Sith Empire. So over the last thousand years, like he's built up the Sith Empire, and it's its own planet. They have spaceports. They have their own economy. Like it's like a modern planet, you know. But it like the whole planet is Sith, like
That's cool.
the whole thing. And I mean, like they have spaceports, and obviously, Revan and Malak were able to get in and pose as mercenaries. But so there were off-worlders arriving and coming and going and whatever. But it was in the unknown regions, and so the Republic didn't know about it essentially.
So,
yes,
what is like the point of the Sith at this point? Like, because you don't have the rule of two, you don't have them like. Do they consider the Jedi like their enemy, like fully their enemies, or is it like what makes them a Sith? Like what's?
So this is during a time where the Sith. So brief history lesson: the Sith were an actual species, the red-skinned Sith people.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
In Legends, again, this is a vast oversimplification, but a group of dark side users they break off from the main Jedi, and they start kind of dabbling. They do the whole dark side thing. They basically, for lack of a better phrase, quote, go bad. They encounter these Sith people over the course of time. They actually inbreed with these people.
Hey yo.
Yeah, the Sith species is still around. Like the red-skinned Sith are still around. You'll see that in a second. I've actually got a picture of one in one of my slides for the presentation. But the Sith species is still around. But the Sith term becomes more of a.
My Zencaster
Pooped.
It went bad.
Really?
What?
It
Good on our end.
It froze on my end, so I got kicked out. So I'm 15 seconds counting right now.
Oh, that's okay. You're still good on my end.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened.
I think it's because your double camera, your camera, Jeremiah, all night has been really grainy because we're recording the camera as well.
Well, on Zencaster, but on Discord is fine.
It's been kind of both.
Oh.
So I don't know if your computer can run both. That's the problem. But
can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we're good for right now.
Yeah, just write a note, Andrew.
Okay.
Jeremiah, if you want to edit this too.
So, brief history lesson. The Sith were a species, like an actual red-skinned species. Way back in the day, the very first tribe of the Jedi, there was a schism. Some Jedi broke off. They accepted and embodied the dark sides of the darker side of the Force, and then they come in contact with this Sith species, and then eventually inbreed with them. So at this point in time, at the point of the story of Revan and Malak, the Sith species are still very much a thing. They do eventually go extinct, but they're very much a thing. But the Sith have become, the Sith term has become more of an overarching like term that applies to the classification of dark side user rather than the Sith people by themselves.
Gotcha. So before, the Sith wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was a group of people.
It was a group of people that were very much attuned to the dark side.
Gotcha.
They were also attuned to the dark side. They had a natural tendency to go that way. But by this point, the Jeremiah, you asked like what the point of the Sith is. The Sith now are a massive group of people in this period of time, led by the tenets of the dark side, and they strive for power. So their purpose is to defeat the Jedi, and it always has been, overthrow the Republic, and instate their rule over the galaxy, because of the teachings of the dark side itself. So while they don't have the same purpose that we see in canon, where they're waiting and they're hiding and they're doing this behind the scene thing, and then obviously Palpatine's going to take over, the end goal is still the same. The end goal is to still become powerful enough that they can rule the galaxy, if that answers your question.
Okay, cool.
So there's no. This is way before the Rule of Two. That's what David said.
I mean, thousands and thousands of years.
Rule of Two was 1,000 years before.
Yeah, so we're looking at least
Right.
another 2,000 years before.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So during the search for the remaining Star Map pieces, Revan continued to grow on the dark side, even created his own Sith holocron in the Temple of Naga Sadao, where they found a star map. In 3959 BBY, Revan and Malak were able to triangulate the location of the Starforge in the Lehan system. Their ship crashed, and they found themselves among two lost tribes of the Rakatan people. Through the use of treachery and cunning, Revan tricked his way inside the Temple of the Ancients and gained access to the Starforge above the planet. So the temple basically turned off a force field that allowed them to get to the Starforge.
Okay.
It's like a planetary shield type deal, and then they got to the Starforge. So, like I was saying, Revan and Darth Malak broke free of the Emperor's mental control and established their own empire with the Starforge, an ancient space station of great power that had been built by the Rakatan species. Using the Starforge to construct a military fleet and weapons, Revan and Malak waged war against the Republic in the resultant Jedi Civil War. However, Revan was betrayed by his Sith apprentice Malak and captured by the Jedi Knight Bastila Shan, who saved Revan and formed a force bond with her captive. The Jedi Council, after helping to heal his badly damaged body, wiped Revan's mind. Bastila, secretly kept his mask, which she had picked up during their battle. So, in typical Sith fashion, Revan gets betrayed by Malak, and then gets beaten by Bastila, and then gets his mind wiped. So yeah.
Fun.
That's the first chunk. Part 4.
How many parts are there?
Is enabled. I'll ask for you to find out.
Oh boy.
Part 4 is actually called Why You Should Buy Wesley Andrews Coffee.
Ooh.
Oh, it says the events of Coach.
Okay.
Plot twist. No. Jeremiah, the next part that we're doing is actually about the sponsor of today's episode, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. So why don't we, instead of talking about it, because I've done enough talking already, let's just take a quick moment and listen to a quick word from today's sponsor, Wesley Andrews. Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee.
I don't think I've actually heard this whole new ad.
Fantastic coffee. Jeremiah, to answer your question, we actually don't have very much more left.
Okay, good. I was like, how long is this gonna be? Not that bad.
Because, well, I mean, to be fair, we've only been going an hour and 15 minutes. But
Mods.
Half of that was about Harry Potter, so.
True.
So, well, I'll say this all when we get back to it.
Or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal.
Sad we can't post gifs like in Discord. Yeah, can't. Sorry.
And support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine,
Dude.
do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
You guys seem so enthusiastic when you say that. Do it.
Yep.
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 All right. Well, there you have it. Go buy a bag of coffee, or multiple bags of coffee.
True.
You do you.
It's been saving my life lately, so.
And we have a real life first-hand experience that Wesley Andrews coffee is actually amazing, and it's proven, at least in one instance, to save your life when you have a baby.
Yeah,
True.
it helps you be a better parent. So
So,
if you want to be the best you can be for your kids,
Daddy Palps, I feel you right now, so you might want to get some of this Wesley Andrews to help you
yeah,
out.
because his baby girl is only what 2 weeks older than
The Miles? Something like that, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
A week or two.
Let's just
yeah.
say making a cup of
She's
coffee
definitely
at
miles
1 or...
ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
All right.
making a cup of coffee at 1 in the morning saves your life sometimes.
Sounds terrible.
Jeremiah, have you ever had coffee?
I've drinking.
I thought you were going to say, Jeremiah, have you ever
I've
had a
had
kid?
cold. Okay, so when I was a little kid,
Uh-huh.
my mom would not finish her mug of coffee, and it'd be cold sitting on the counter, and I'd drink it.
Jeremiah, you can't base your coffee experience
Okay.
on old coffee.
No, that's
No,
not,
that's not
I'm
his
basing it on anything.
experience. He's just
Oh.
he just
I'm
doesn't
saying I
drink
don't-
caffeine.
I'm not saying I don't drink coffee because of that. I'm saying I don't drink coffee because I don't drink coffee.
He doesn't
I don't
drink
like hot
caffeine.
beverages. I don't do caffeine.
Yeah, I think the caffeine is more because
I-
you could do cold coffee. That's not really.
You
an
can also
excuse.
do decaffeinated cold.
No, but it's not.
It's the flavor of coffee is okay. This is gonna be weird, and you're not gonna understand, and I understand that. But if I were to drink coffee, it would give me the flavor itself would give me a headache.
Huh.
Same with artificial strawberry flavoring. It gives me a headache.
Interesting.
So like flavors give me headaches, and coffee like if it's in something
Artificial
like I can like a subtle taste of coffee, like I don't mind it. But if I were to have like straight
Wow.
coffee, it's so concentrated.
I think
of
we've had
coffee
this
flavor,
I think we have this conversation at least
I
once
would
a month.
I would probably get a headache.
Yeah.
Huh.
One day, maybe not.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay. Well,
It's not for
hey, that's-
everyone,
That's fine. Yeah,
but if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
for you, use that discount
Buy-
code.
Use that discount code. It actually helps us. Okay. Let's dive back into the
Weird
story
flex,
of
but
Revan.
okay. Yes.
All right. Any questions? Do either of you have any questions about Revan thus far?
What color are his eyes?
Okay.
Brown, and when he's in the dark side, yellow.
Interesting.
And that is actually really
Is that him right there?
Yeah, that's the
That's
the
a
most
first
accept.
Close
That's the
up.
mo- Yeah, that's the most accepted version of him. Okay, so it's worth noting since part 4 is called The Events of KOTOR, it's worth noting that Revan didn't have an official look because he was first envisioned as an RPG character that you could have a say in the way he looked.
interesting
Oh,
because
okay.
it's like no
Correct.
matter who you pick, guy or
Right.
girl or whatever.
Yes, yeah. And so
Gotcha.
the kind of a standard standard image of Revan was adopted later, and all I'm saying is Keanu Reeves could 100% play a live action Revan.
So if he's
That's what
listening,
I've heard.
if
Just
you're
throw that out there.
listening,
So
get on it.
So you said the events of KOTOR. So was everything that you've covered so far novel stuff?
Everything that I covered so far was Legends material pre-KOTOR.
So
And it was not. And
yes.
we haven't even gotten to the novel yet.
Wait, what?
We haven't even gotten to the events of the novel yet.
The best.
Wait,
the best
I
thing
thought you
ever.
just said what we did was before the games.
That was
just
just legend knowledge. That's not the book.
That's just Legends information.
Where did that come from, though?
That's
The
his
Lord?
backstory.
If it wasn't in a book and it wasn't in a game, where did it come from?
Well, there was a comic, and then obviously they wrote his backstory.
Yes, but it wasn't
But
necessarily.
it's not a book?
It wasn't in the book.
No, it wasn't a book.
What does that even mean? I
You
don't
just
even
broke
It-
Jeremiah.
it
Yes,
wasn't-
yes,
it
we
wasn't
did.
a book. Listen. There are three. This is the way you can view it. There are three main sections of his life. You got everything leading up to KOTOR, which we just covered.
Yeah,
You got KOTOR, which is a game,
yeah, I
and
got
then you've
that.
got everything out after it, which is mostly a novel, and then a little bit after that. Okay, so
Jeremiah,
here's
buckle in. That's what he's trying to
This
tell
is
you.
why I don't want to do the EU, because like it is what? I don't understand like how it wasn't a book.
It was just written after the
Jeremiah,
fact.
you can have stories written that aren't directly related to a book in the Star Wars universe.
Okay, you said comics.
Duh.
Was it all comics or was it?
It wasn't all comics. His story just it existed.
You're asking too much, Jeremiah. Just
Yeah.
But
go
where,
with it.
where was this information written down? Was it a magazine? Was it a pamphlet? Was it?
It was a
like,
scroll from the Sith
Dude,
holocron.
Part of it is his backstory. Other parts of it were explored later in other like smaller publications or stuff. Like, dude, the thing about the expanded universe is like there are just some things that exist.
Okay.
You're
Just don't
asking
question
too
it.
much,
I-
Jeremiah.
it's just like
Oh, this is the best.
I don't know. It just doesn't. It exists, but there's no. I don't know. It's just.
I'm
Okay.
gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do something for you.
Okay. How nice of you.
Okay, I'm gonna do something just for you. So I'm gonna go all the way down, and we are gonna look for all of course. Oh, this is the canon page. Nobody wants the canon page.
It's like it's just
like
the
one-
name of the ship from episode 9.
Yeah, it's like that, and then like the one story that he popped up in that didn't get released in Clone Wars. To answer your actual question, his eyes are brown, but they're yellow when he's in the dark side. That's on the page I'm looking at. So obviously there's a short story. There is a full comic that does detail a lot of what we talked about. There's another short story and games. I mean, like a lot of it has been pieced together from like a bunch of different
So there were
forms of media. Star Wars
other
Knights of the Old Republic
games that had
2.
him in it that wasn't KOTOR?
Well, you have Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2. He's in Galaxy of Heroes, which doesn't really... it is what it is. He is in the Old Republic. He does make an appearance in the MMO. So it's like... It's a lot
Okay.
of stuff. Just...
Okay.
Just go with
Because like someone could like literally in passing mention him and like, yeah, Revan did this, and it's something that wasn't stated in the other story, and you go whoop, you just take that, you just take it, you put it in the main story.
Okay.
So
So yeah.
it's hard. I know it's hard, but
Yes, it is.
this is the unofficial official non-canon story of Revan.
Official, unofficial, official, non-canon stuff.
Non-canon story, yeah. So if that made it any easier to understand. Listen,
Sorry.
yeah, I looked down. David said the Old Republic has like a whole expansion around him. That yeah. I'm also pretty sure that the picture that I have on my screen for like the main image for the events of KOTOR is from the Old Republic. That's him. From
It
the Old
is, yep.
Republic. Yeah. Okay, so here's a disclaimer about the next two sections. So I have the next two sections are the events of KOTOR and then post KOTOR. These will probably feel a little bit faster and a little bit less in depth. And the reason for that, number one, KOTOR is kind of like a choose your own adventure game. So there are some plot points that do happen, but then also there's a lot of choice involved. And so it would be impossible to go into all of that and expand on the character of Revan in that respect. So I'm going with the main summary of that, and then obviously there is a book. And with any book, you have a massive depth of knowledge, especially when this character is the main character of the novel. And so just know that these are kind of a little bit higher descriptions of what happens, but they are the actual main plot points. So there you go. Here we go. We're jumping in. With his mind wiped, Revan was given a new identity as a Republic soldier by the Jedi Council and stationed aboard the Republic warship, the Endar Spire. However, when Malak attacked the Spire above the planet Terrace in a failed attempt to capture Shan, Revan joined forces with the Republic officer Karth Onasti and a number of other individuals on Taurus to locate Shan and escape the world before Malak destroyed the planet's surface. Revan and his friends traveled to the planet Dantooine's Jedi Enclave, that's been the setting of a few different events in the story so far, where he was retrained as a Jedi Padawan. Sent on a mission to locate the star maps, Rakatan artifacts that would lead the way to the Starforge, Revan gained new allies and grew close with Shan during their travels. However, when the group was captured by Malak, Revan's true identity was revealed, and Shan was captured, forcing Revan and his crew to find the final map and locate the Starforge on their own. Aboard the Starforge, Revan brought a fallen Shan back to the light side of the Force with his love and defeated Malak, earning the Cross of Glory and the title of the Prodigal Knight. So, that's all we get for this section. However, it's worth noting that when you start KOTOR, like so many other people, and you have no idea, like when I played KOTOR for the first time, I had no idea who Revan was, right? So you're playing KOTOR, you're this character, you're a Republic soldier. All of a sudden you find out, whoa, wait a second. I have Force abilities. That's super cool, right? So you're playing through this game, and you're like, oh, I have Force abilities. That's super cool. And then you start being trained as a Padawan, and then you get your lightsaber, and all these cool things are happening. You're like, oh, shoot, I'm a Jedi. I can use I can use a blaster too, and all these things. Like, very unorthodox. Like, it's, obviously you're older. Why are you being trained when you're older? But anyways, you realize that you're like this really powerful Force user, and you start trying to save the galaxy, and then and you've heard, like, throughout the game, you hear about this Darth Revan character, like this terrible.
What is his new name?
Revan. Plot
So
twist.
he goes by Revan, but he hears stories of Darth Revan.
Well, he doesn't. You don't really like have. Do you pick your name?
You can change your name.
I can't remember if you pick your name. It's been a while, or like they just don't name you.
They don't name. I think it's whatever your name is. Like when you
Yeah.
play the game, like it
But
doesn't
then,
matter.
like-
It's like when they talk to you. I think like I don't remember if they insert your name or is it just like you. Like you don't really. I don't know.
I think you rename him. But like the whole time,
Yeah, you
the whole-
rename him. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
That's
the
okay.
whole time you're going through this game, and you're hearing these stories of like this terrible Sith Lord, and then all of a sudden in a confrontation with what you think, well, I mean he is the big bad for the game, but like in this confrontation with Malak, he's like, plot twist, you're Revan, and then as as the player playing this game, you're like, wait, what?
Spoilers.
Like this whole, yeah, that's why I said spoilers at the beginning. That's why I said this is one of the greatest video game reveals. Like if you go through this whole process, well, Jeremiah, it's been ruined for you. I'm sorry. But if you
Well,
go
I
through this
already
whole-
knew that, so.
Well, but if you go through the whole process and have no concept of what's actually happening, you get to this point in the game and you're like, wait, it's me. Like but all these questions, you're like, wait, what? But I'm a Jedi. Like, how did that work? And it's just mind blowing. Like you get to that point and you find out I am literally that bad guy, and that's also why I'm so powerful with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's fun.
and then obviously your love interest goes to the dark side. And you bring her back, and then you come back, and you're affectionately referred to as the prodigal knight because you went to the dark side, got your mind wiped, came back, remembered stuff, still stuck with the light side, and conquered evil. So yes,
So does that Wookiee have like a metal sword?
a vibro sword. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he's one of your party members in
That's
the
pretty
game.
cool.
So I put him up there. That's not technically what you look like in the game, but
It's not.
it's there. It's the Galaxy of Heroes thing. If you played Galaxy of Heroes and seen Revan, that's what we're looking at. All right, so that's the events of KOTOR in a nutshell.
Oh, nice.
Now we're going to move on to post KOTOR. So I've mentioned Mitra a few different times. The person that we're looking at, if you're watching the video or you are on Twitch, that's who we're looking at right now.
She needs to fix the white balance on whoever took that picture.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Okay.
It's very overexposed, but
Well.
it's fine. Okay.
Oh,
so
look at that guy.
this is a Sith. This is an actual Sith.
That's what their species looks like.
Correct. They have
Ooh.
red skin. They have these like face kind of tendril things. A lot of times the main two that are kind of like under their nose, on the upper lip, where they had like ornaments or they looked like they were braided or something like that. But they had like somewhat spiky faces. Most of them were bald.
They look cool.
Yeah. Not all of them were bald, but it was a common look. And then for the men, at least, but yeah, that is a red skin Sith. So if you're listening to the audio version, you've never seen one before, just go to Google and type in Sith species one time, and there's like a ton of art, some of which that was actually included in like some of the like the non-canon like complete reader's guide that I have, like that was written by Pablo Hidalgo. There's like art from that you can find and stuff too. So lots of cool stuff. Okay, so Revan married Sean and sank into obscurity for several years until his resurfacing memories of his time as Darth Revan led him to leave his wife and unborn child behind
Oh,
and search
come
for
on.
answers in the unknown regions. I love how Drew, like from now on, your reactions are going to be completely different when we talk about children,
Yeah, that's
which is a
fair.
good thing. I said he left his wife and his unborn child, and Drew's was just like his heart's just breaking. So this is the next few sentences in the ones we just read are a very huge oversimplification of the book, the plot of the book. So he's married to Sean, and he goes away for a while. His memories resurface. He's living as a successful Jedi, but his memories resurface, and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta do this. I gotta figure this out. So keep in mind, he leaves and his child has not been born yet.
He's a deadbeat. Yeah, keep going.
What?
What?
Anyways, a former lieutenant of his named Mitra Sturik rescued him. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Let me go back. I definitely just jumped a few sentences. So he goes for answers in the unknown regions. He's captured by the Sith on the Sith planet. I'm something Cass. I'm totally blanking the name now. Why can I not remember that? I just read it. Anyways, same Sith planet. He gets imprisoned. He ends up there looking for answers. He gets imprisoned, and he's imprisoned for 3 years. So this is where Revan's story gets kind of sad. So he has this great life. He's got a good wife. Bastila, she's got their baby cooking in the oven. He leaves, and he gets imprisoned for 3 years.
So does he leave because he's
Drummond Cost. Thank you, Tanner, for
like
reminding me of that.
he left because he's trying to figure out himself, but he does plan to come back, or did he leave?
No. He plans to come back.
Oh, before the baby's born.
This is the whole tragedy, and I need to express this. This is a really good.
You
book.
made it sound like he's like, oh, I'm just gonna leave my wife now and
No,
with her kid.
no.
He actually went to go get milk from the store, but something else happened.
Gotcha.
Boo.
So-
Okay. What the whole story is that he starts having these memories. His memories are resurfacing, and he's like, I have this hunch. Like, sure, they beat Malak, but I've got this hunch that there's this like greater threat at the fringes of my mind. I can't place it. It's out there. I've got to figure this out because I think the galaxy is actually at risk.
Gotcha.
Like, there's this sense of urgency. It's like I can't knowingly stay with you knowing you're in danger. Like, I'm pretty sure if my memory serves me correctly, like there's actually a conversation along the line. There's a conversation along the lines of like, I've got to do this because you're at risk. Like, I'm doing this out of love to keep you safe.
Gotcha.
And so he goes, and the tragedy is that he gets imprisoned. Like, he goes and it doesn't go according to plan. And he's in prison there on the planet by, pretty sure it was by Scourge, the Sith in the picture.
So that said Scrooge, Lord Scrooge, when I was reading it.
No. But 3 years later, Mitra Surik, the one who did the thought bomb, the mass shadow generator, she, with the help of Scourge, frees Revan. They free Revan from his prison. The trio's attempt to eliminate the Sith Emperor, but obviously it fails again because he's super powerful. And Revan was held captive by the Emperor for 300 years.
Fun.
How
300 years.
How is he able to live that long?
Okay, so he's taken captive by the Emperor, and then he's like, basically, I'm gonna actually go to this point in the story and make sure that I read this correctly because I don't want to get it wrong. But this is the way the book ends, and it pissed me off so much. Like, I was so mad when the book ended because, like, this is the last thing that happens. Like, he's captive, and it describes this mental. He's being tortured, and he's locked in this mental battle with the Sith Emperor, like in the plane of the Force, essentially. And it pissed me off so much. There's even there. Okay, so another little sad note while I'm finding this. When Mitra comes and picks him up, she brings a droid with her that has a hologram of Bastila and his son.
Ooh.
Like, and that he's never met.
Dang. GG.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways. So I'm gonna read. Revan then explained he had remembered his path, how Malak had been lured into a trap and corrupted. Okay, so their discussion soon turned to the possibility that the Emperor would attempt to repeat the ritual he performed on Thema here on Droman Kos. The Revan and Scourge concluded that the Emperor would not. Scourge, Surik, and Revan then agreed that they would try to kill the Emperor, as now was their best chance at eliminating the threat he posed to the galaxy. and Revan suggested that they all get some rest before dawn. While Surik settled into meditation, Revan resumed watching his wife's message. He was soon interrupted by a restless scourge. The Sith Lord sought to learn more of Revan's view of the Force and visions, and Revan admitted that he had been bluffing about his vision earlier, despite the fact that he received a true vision shortly after. Revan and Scourge's decision led Revan to admit that he was willing to die if that was the Force attained for him. Let me see. So this is like the part right before they go in. Okay. So, locked in stasis, hovering between life and death, Revan was unable to move as the Emperor reached out across dozens of light years and fed off the Jedi Master's strength, using Revan's power to fuel his own. The Emperor also linked his mind to Revan's and tried to draw on his knowledge of the Republic and the Force so that he could learn more about his enemies. However, Revan resisted the Emperor's influence with his strength of will, and the Force ghost of Surik remained next to him, lending her friend strength to fighting the Emperor, preventing the Sith from taking his knowledge. So, like, he's stuck in stasis in a mental battle with the Emperor. Like, and the Emperor's using him as a conduit of the Force through which he could see the visions of the future. Through Revan used their link in reverse. Though Revan used their link in reverse to temper the Emperor's aggression and slow the Sith plans to wage war on the Republic. However, Revan was mentally tortured for centuries by the Emperor and the fear-wielding Sith Lords known as the Dread Masters. The Sith sought to twist him to the dark side and remake him as the Emperor's servant, and though he was able to resist, Revan's mind eventually fractured under the strain. So, like, it was bad. It's crazy. And, like, the book ends with him being tortured. Like, that's it. Like, that's when the book, like, you get through and you're like, oh, he's going to make it. He's going to get back to his wife. And no. 300 years. Never sees his wife again. Never sees his kid in real life.
GG.
But he made that sacrifice to try to hold the Emperor and the Sith Empire at bay.
Fun.
Yeah. It's really sad. But it's also a really good book. Please go read the book, even though if you're listening to this, you know how it ends. But still, go read the book. It's really good. Okay. So Revan was held captive for the Emperor for 300 years until he was finally freed by Republic forces. Taking control of the Rakatan Foundry, which is another similar to the Starforge kind of. Revan attempted to construct an army of extermination droids to destroy the Empire, but the Jedi Master died when he was defeated by an Imperial strike team. However, the torture that he experienced at the hand of the Emperor had splintered Revan's mind, and while part of him attempted to become one of the Force, the rest rejected death and clung to life, embracing the dark side. So he literally kind of split into two separate, like, Force entities. Embracing the dark side, taking control of the fanatical order of Revan, he sought to destroy the Sith Emperor once and for all by bringing the Sith ruler back to a physical form and killing him. But both the Empire and the Republic joined together in an effort to stop him. Revan's light side was unable to pass on and aided the Coalition in defeating the Dark Revan. And although the Emperor was able to regain his strength, the two halves of Revan merged and were able to die a final death. Revan's spirit went on to aid the heroes of the galaxy in defeating the Sith Emperor once and for all, and his task completed. He became one with the Force. And his task completed, he became one with the Force. His legacy, however, would live on. The Sith Lord Darth Revan, who lived during the 1,000-year conflict known as the New Sith Lords, chose his name after reading a damaged manuscript about Revan, and the Sith Lord Darth Bane discovered Revan's Sith holocron on the planet Lihan and used Revan's teaching to develop the Rule of Two philosophy, which we talked about in our episode on Darth Bane.
So, can you elaborate on the split Revan thing? It was like a Force Ghost type thing. Two
Yeah.
Force.
Oh, and David, really quickly, David makes a really good point. Something I do want to mention now that I've been reminded of it. Grandmaster Satil at the time was his descendant. So one of his descendants from him and Bastila ended up being the Grandmaster of the Order.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Who, by the way, if you watch the Old Republic MMO cinematics, there's a girl who looks very similar to Bastila. When
Oh, I think I know. When
Like
they're in
crazy-
the forest.
not in the in the forest, yes, but there's also the one where it's the Jedi, the Master, and the Padawan, and it's her in the space station when the Sith attack,
Oh yeah.
and they have that epic lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
It's like Satil, run. That's her. That's her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's all connected, especially in the Old Republic. Like that whole video game franchise is very heavily connected.
Interesting.
So basically, the Force or the torture that he endured split his Force being into two separate sides. Like it was so bad that it splintered him into essentially a light side and a dark side.
That was like two Force Ghosts, basically.
Essentially, yeah. To put it simply, yes.
So they're like,
Actually, and this is the part of his life that I know the least about too. So, but yeah,
Cool.
pretty crazy stuff.
so the
But-
question. So do you think that with the remake of the game, that they're gonna canonize what's in the game?
I don't know. I don't know how they could, because the High Republic has already done so much in changing what we thought about that whole time period. Because like in the Old Republic game, like there's no frontier. Like we're just exploring the Outer Rim. Like it's established. There's hyperspace lanes. Like
Yeah.
obviously like
And the time is before, technically, right?
well, the time of the game is like
Before the High Republic.
3,000 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's like a 3,000 year difference. So they would have to either change, they would have to retcon what they've already released, which is not going to happen, or they would have to change KOTOR so much that it fit in the timeline, and no one wants that.
But people might want that to make Revan canon, though,
I'd rather them, man,
right?
yeah, but like that's such an integral part of his story.
But it seems like if they're coming out with this game, like if they come out with a game and don't have plans to have canon Revan in the future, like
I honestly, I
you
think
can't do a canon Revan
Well,
and
I
then
think-
come out also with a game that's not
I
canon.
think they're
Like,
coming out with
yeah,
the
you can.
game because the other game is being delayed even more, and they need to put out content.
well, I also think it's more so like a really expensive fan service project, because
that too.
people, I mean, fans have been asking for a remake of KOTOR for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Ever since
when did they originally come out? What year?
it came out in
Yeah, David said that the game won't be canon. Yeah, I think honestly, Jeremiah, I
Yeah,
think it's
there's
because that open world concept bounty hunter game,
2003.
that open world concept bounty hunter game that is coming out is gonna get announced that it's gonna be even delayed more than it already is, and so I think this is something to let us have, because there's when you sign contracts like Disney and stuff, you have to put out a certain number of games, which is why EA put out like a half-made VR Squadron game, because they had to fill out their contract. And I think this is something similar where like, hey, we can put a blanket over this and make it look way nicer, and it's going to take up less time and less money, and that way we can put our resources towards this other game that's going to be delayed.
Well, I
This
will
is
say
a
that it's
complete
also,
remake. It's not a remaster. So
yeah, I mean,
This is
also
a full-fledged game.
True.
So EA is no longer the exclusive
No, I'm saying the new.
license holder. But the open world game and this studio are different studios.
Oh,
as
they
well.
are? Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought it was the
Yeah,
same studio.
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if they wanted to change things to canonize them, sure, but I doubt it.
So is there multiple gaming companies that own the rights to Star Wars now?
There
There's-
are multiple gaming companies
Yeah.
that are developing games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not
There's
just
all kinds of them.
Well, no, I know, but before it was just EA, you know.
Yeah, but they had a contract for 3 games, and they did those 3, and now
Barely,
it's
but
not.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not EA anymore.
perfect. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, David mentioned in the chat, open world is Ubisoft.
Yes, I know that. I didn't know
So-
who
but
is
it's
doing
not.
this.
It's not Ubisoft that's doing Knights
Okay.
of the Old Republic.
Cool.
And Knights of the Old Republic is going on 20 years old,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Which
So
Andrew, you were saying like you want the port at least.
yeah,
When I open the game on my phone, it literally says KOTOR. Like that's the name of the game.
yeah.
So I think it's both. I don't remember. I've never fully beat
Well,
it.
if they can do it with Republic Commando, they can do it with this.
Oh no, they can do it.
Yeah, I just.
Did you
wish
ever
that
get
they-
the Republic Commando one?
Not yet.
It came out right though.
Yeah. It came out.
I should get it. I don't have a lot of time, so maybe not.
Yeah, you have other priorities.
I like plan to read a bunch. That's not happening.
Well,
Yeah.
there's always more time. Maybe. That look.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and transition over to voicemail time. Unless you guys have any more Revan questions.
I'm good.
Nope.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then let's just go ahead and transition to voicemail time, shall we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Drew, you wanna do it?
Or do you have the button?
Do you want to do it?
Just button it.
You don't want to do it one more time, just for me?
No.
Just push the button.
All right, here we go. All right, everyone. We have 2 voicemails tonight. One from, I believe, a Discord user, Tarzan,
Ooh.
and one from David.
Nice.
And I'm saying that because we have a special entry of Stormtrooper Poetry.
Ooh.
But let's listen to this first voicemail first, shall we?
Hey guys, this is Tarzan. I hope this makes it to the end of one of your videos, but I actually have a question. So, do you guys play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one? And if you're listening to this and it is on the show, go into Discord. It's actually really fun. Anyway, see ya.
Well, it sounds like
Yeah.
this boy's having fun somewhere else.
I think he's probably in the lunchroom or something. Right
Some-
now.
Yeah,
Something.
it sounded like he was like at work or something, or in a cafeteria or something.
or at a bar
Dude,
or something.
Tarzan, thank you for sending that in. It did make it into an episode.
Yes, it did.
It's a good question, and yes, if you're listening to this and you have not already, join the Discord.
Do it.
Do it.
And
talk
almost
about how to
all,
do
I'm
that
pretty
a little
sure
bit.
all voicemails so far have made it to episodes. So if you're worried
Yeah.
that it's not, it's going to make it. So,
Unless you tell us not to, and then we won't.
or
But
it's
we can still
very
answer your question.
inappropriate.
Or yeah. Remember, we try to keep things family friendly here.
Correct.
So
Favorite
Yeah,
game.
anyways, favorite game.
Does
Favorite
it have to
video
be?
game.
He didn't say Star Wars.
No, he just favorite,
Just
favorite
said-
video game.
Game. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew's Animal Crossing.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
I love Animal Crossing.
I feel like
New
you're a Flappy
Horizons.
Birds kind of guy.
Me?
Yeah.
Dude,
No.
don't insult me. I'm not okay. Look, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I'm not just like an exclusive mobile gamer. Like, don't give me that.
Okay, sorry.
I don't
But
know.
if
I
it,
don't
if
know why
Flappy
that would
Bird
be a
was
bad
on the
thing.
Switch though, Jeremiah, he
I
might.
still, dude. I didn't have the patience for Flappy Bird.
Yeah, I hated that game.
I hated that game. My brother-in-law Will, dude, he was so freaking good at that game.
I hated that game. I may or may
Like-
not have sold my iPhone 5 because it had that game on it, and I was able to make more money because of it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, dude, people are doing that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the time. So, in my suite in college, we were all playing Flappy Bird, and we were trying to see who could get the highest score. And my brother-in-law goes into the bathroom to take a poop, and comes out, and he's like, "Guys, I got like 450 something." And I'm like,
Damn.
"That's BS. No way." He showed me the score, and I was like, "What?"
When you're
Like, how does
focused,
that-
when you're dialed
Gosh.
in, when you're
Anyways.
locked in.
I think my favorite video game of all time, and this is you're either gonna respect it or you're gonna hate it. RuneScape.
I can respect it.
I loved RuneScape. I
have a
spent
friend that still plays
years-
it nonstop. That
Dude,
streams
I
it
spent
nonstop.
years on RuneScape in high school. Like at least 3 of the 4 years of high school,
Wow.
I was playing that pretty hardcore, because I had a really good group of friends who we all played together. So we would all get on and just like chat. and
That's
just
the
hang out, or-
best.
yeah, dude, like it was so much fun. And then like you get done with all the free to play stuff, and then I got a membership, and obviously it unlocks this whole other like massive world that you didn't have before. And then there's just tons of goals, and like it takes a lot of time, so like it doesn't feel like you accomplish everything too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always something else to kind of strive for. Like they've got a great in-game, well, I would say it's great. Some other people might not, but they have a really good in-game economy. Like I don't know.
My friend Cody, if you're listening, shout out to you. He streams that game like all the
Yeah.
time still. So
Yeah, they do have like a super updated one. I tried to play that, and I was like, this is too different for me. So they have RuneScape Classic.
I was
which
gonna say
played.
it seems so confusing to me that I
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because I was like actively playing the game when the full screen update came out. Dude,
Gotcha.
that was revolutionary. Like when you could go full screen for that game, we lost our crap. It was so cool. And then they updated the graphics, and it looks really good. So I'll never.
So
forget the
you
first time.
grew with the game.
Yeah, I grew with the game. Like,
That's always
I
the
wasn't
best
there at the very
experience.
beginning, but like I got in early enough that like I'll never forget the first time I was playing in HD graphics and full screen. Bro, I felt like a freaking king.
That's what's
It was
up.
amazing. So and then obviously like I got busy and I got out of it, and then I tried to go back. I was like, whoa, this is good thing they have RuneScape Classic, because
The new one's intense.
the new ones it's more complicated. I would imagine it's more fun, but it's also, I'm pretty sure at the core of it, I think it's the same game. Like they haven't changed it too much, which is good. But yeah, RuneScape. Yeah.
Sure.
Jeremiah.
Well, I've said a lot on the podcast, but The Last of Us Remastered is my favorite game of all time. But I'm not the biggest gamer, so like I don't have a big, huge list. But
Yeah.
But I also really enjoyed Final Fantasy VIII on PlayStation 1.
Ooh,
Yo, oh, dude.
that was a good game.
Yo, that
And-
reminded me. Keep
What?
going. I have an
And-
honorable mention to share.
And for PlayStation 2, Freedom Fighters. That's not a game that a lot of people know about, but it was
Yeah, I
an
know.
amazing game. It was like an alternate history game, so like Russia invaded the United States,
Ooh, that's
and
always
like
fun.
It's like Red Dawn.
yes,
But the game.
and so you're just this guy that's like trying to like lead a revolution against the Russians, and like you like could build charisma. So like the more charisma you had, the more people would join you, and like you could like squads go on missions, and you can like tell.
Your speech skill in Skyrim.
Yep.
Sure. And so
You've never played Skyrim?
and so you could like get like up to like 10 people on your team, like as you go through. You could like tell like 3 of them to go over here and like just defend, and like
Yeah.
5 people go over there attack. It was a super fun game, and like they would have like a, how would I explain, like there's like different maps, but like it's like a level map. So like one map has 3 levels on it, like 3 missions,
Okay.
but like they're separate maps. And
Yeah.
so like one of them would have a helicopter pad. And so if you went to one of the other two, the helicopter could come and bring more troops. But if you start on that
Ooh.
one, you can destroy the helipad, and then there's no helicopter on the other two maps when you're playing those levels. So like you had to strategize on what you want to destroy on each map or do on each map, so you wouldn't have to deal with the other things from the other two maps while you're doing it. So it was an interesting strategy game, like figuring out what that, and it was just fun.
All right.
And that was PlayStation 2, so it's like ahead of its game.
True.
And I even
Yeah.
bought the soundtrack. for that game, too.
Wow, you
There's
really
a
like
great
that game.
soundtrack on it.
That's
Cool.
That's sick. So Death by Pie mentioned Sly Cooper 2. Sly Cooper was great, but my honorable mention is, now that you reminded me, Jeremiah, Final Fantasy 12.
Ooh.
Dude, I spent so much time, so many hours on that game on PlayStation 2. Oh, such a good game, and the soundtrack. I mean, any Final Fantasy soundtrack is gorgeous, but that was a big deal for me. And obviously, another honorable mention that I just remembered is Breath of the Wild. Zelda Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece.
It's
Like,
really good. That was like the first game I beat in such a long time.
yeah,
Like from
Breath
the
of
beginning
Wild
to end.
is
It's so good.
it's a 10 out of 10 in my book. RuneScape is my favorite game because of the nostalgia, but I
Mhm.
would say if I had to base it solely on experience, it probably would be Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah.
What about, how would you feel about the Insane Trilogy, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy?
No.
You don't
No.
want to rank that?
Oh gosh.
no, I don't. I'm not gonna put anything in my top 5 that makes my blood pressure rise that much. No.
That's fair.
All right, Drew.
For me, Mario Kart on GameCube was legendary back in the day.
Double Dash.
Double Dash is still the best Mario Kart to date.
Double Dash.
You can argue all day, but it's true. That was probably one of my favorite games growing up, and that game still holds up to this day. I love that game. That game. I like Super Mario 3 is really fun on NES. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
I like that one. But I think for me, what like brought me up into like gaming, and I game kind of a bit. I would say probably when like I would do big LAN parties at my old place with all my brothers-in-law, and we used to play Fortnite. We all sucked at it. We all still suck at it. It's not we're not the
Right.
best. But to have like 5+ PS4s all in one room, all together with monitors, and you're all together in one room, and then you finally get one win, and you've been playing for literally 8 hours straight, and you get one win because we all sucked. That's what regenerated gaming for me, and I love that.
Dude.
So just playing with people is like my favorite
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think that's the key to playing a game and having the most fun is like having a group of friends that you can experience that with. You know, like, playing Pokemon, super fun.
Well, I was gonna say
play
the game I played the most consistent is Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah,
I gotta play
good.
that daily,
but
and
like, dude, that's way more fun with people.
100%.
Like if you're playing that by yourself, you'll get burnt out.
No,
super
David,
fast.
I send you invites. You gotta keep looking. I send you invites to raids all the time, dude. You gotta come out. But yeah, no. Since I moved, there's a gym behind my house, and I can reach it in my house. So it's
Hey.
pretty dope because I can like
Hey.
battle and have my Pokemon in the gym and get free. It's awesome. So
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Drew, do you remember when we were kids, we would play video games before church upstairs?
Yes. Mhm.
And there was that football game, like I think it was like NFL Blitz or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep. That was the best when you could just like
And-
do backflips in the end zone and
I
push-
remember I would always play your brother Jess, and I'd destroy him every time, and he was like yell and scream and get so mad when I
dude,
was playing.
he loved that game. He still loves that game. I'm pretty sure he has like a Sega that has that game on it.
Was that
but yeah.
Sega?
I thought it was.
I
Wasn't
thought it
it?
was PlayStation 1.
Or maybe it is PS1.
Might have been PlayStation
Either way, he
1.
probably has it. But no, NFL Blitz was really dope because you could like literally beat up people. It was
It
awesome.
was like over the top.
It was way intense, and they should make a remaster version of that game. That would be sick. Cause
That'd be
like
pretty
with
cool.
like blood and like super intense. I would play that game. That'd be dope.
All right. Well, there you go, Tarzan.
Yes.
Thanks for sending that in, though. That's a good question.
That is a
any
good
question. That
question.
gets us to go off on a tangent like that is always good.
No one asked us that question before. That's pretty cool.
No. All right. Well, let's strap in for some Stormtrooper poetry. Here we go.
Stormtrooper Poetry.
I once was a boy named Jet, whose father had once said, "You have to go far," so I joined the Death Star, and now I am drifting dead.
Stormtrooper Poetry.
All right, that's what's up.
He had
you
to
go.
record it on his phone or something and then play it.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. You know, it's sad.
Well, yeah, it's sad, but
Stormtrooper
also
poetry.
you didn't say join the Discord afterwards, which I was kind of surprised.
Nah, Tarzan did, though.
True, he did.
So we're good. We've got someone saying
We got that.
Yeah. That was wonderful, David. Thank you.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, speaking of the Discord, I think this is a good segment, or a good segue, excuse me, to jump right into how you can actually join the Discord. So we mentioned it a few different times, and the easiest way, there is a link in the description of our audio episodes. The link is also in our Instagram bio, and it is in the About Us section on our Twitch page. If you click that link in any of those three places, it is a landing page, and it takes you to a page that has all of our social media accounts on it. You click the little icons, go to all of them. It's the easiest way to connect with us on the internet. It also has a link to join the Discord. So you do need that link. But if you can find that landing page link in one of those three places, you click on it. There's another button right there. It says join the Discord. There's also a link for you to leave a voicemail as well. So if you want to leave a voicemail, you want to be a part of an episode, you want to hear your voice on air and listen to us answer your questions, or like we said, if you don't want to have your question actually played on air but you want us to answer it, we'll still do that as well. So there's a button for that, and like I said, buttons for all of our other social media accounts. So twitch.tv/Empire Radio, there's a link for that there. That's where we live stream the recordings of all of these episodes live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to catch a live stream and you want to be a part of the chat that we reference, that's the way to do it. But all the other good stuff, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook is on there as well. We do record the live video versions of the live streams, and we do post them on our YouTube following the episode. So make sure you find that link. Click on it. Just do everything.
Do it.
Everything.
Just
Get
do it all.
Yeah.
Also, Jeremiah, David said in the chat that it is a voice mod, and it's supposed to be a Stormtrooper helmet sound.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I hear it.
So there you go.
Sick. All right. Well, anything else, boys?
No,
nope. Star Wars Visions.
It's
To-
coming next
dude.
week.
It's coming.
This is your reminder.
yes,
Today is, at the time of recording, September 21st. We're like less than 8 hours away from Visions.
Yep.
Next week, the 28th, we will be doing Star Wars Visions in some
Correct.
capacity. We
Yes.
might be doing multiple Visions episodes. Who knows?
I have a
But
feeling
it's
we're
coming.
gonna do multiple. So stay on target. I was gonna say
Stay on target.
yeah, and
Stay on target.
I'm excited for Visions. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm
up
so
all
excited.
night for other reasons, and I'll probably be watching Visions at the same time. So, I'm just telling you guys right now. Sorry, I'm not doing a watch party of Visions. I don't have the time for that right now.
Oh, so you're saying you have like a legitimate adult responsibility that
Now I do. Yes,
you shouldn't be apologizing for.
sure, but some people enjoy our watch parties, Andrew, and I miss
No,
them.
I got it.
I would love to watch them with you too, Andrew, but
Oh,
it's kind of sad.
Dude,
That
I'd
is
be
our
down.
thing.
I'd be down. Yeah,
So,
we gotta get Jeremiah in on one day.
I mean, for the Book of Boba, I'm gonna do those. So
Oh yeah,
that is our
100%.
goal. So But
They did say so. There was a hint. So Disney Plus Day, they've been releasing stuff about like all the new.
the list, right?
Yeah, so Disney Plus released a list,
Yeah, I saw
but
that.
then Star Wars on their Instagram released a separate post. It was like a GIF of the Disney Plus Day announcement, and the caption was like, "Stay tuned for Disney Plus Day. It'll be worth it," or something like you won't regret it, or something like that. And I'm like, does that mean
When is that though?
that?
Is that already
When is
happened?
that day?
I think it's November 21st.
That far?
Disney Day? I didn't even heard of
Disney
that.
Plus Day. Well, it's
So-
like a new thing. Like it's the first time.
But didn't they just release a
Well,
list?
maybe
of-
is that the anniversary of when it released?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think so.
Oh,
that is.
okay.
Yeah. So, so I'm looking at the post right now. So they had a post. Says celebrate the stories you love on November 12th.
November
Not November
12th.
21st, November 12th. And it says add Disney Plus Day to your calendar. You won't regret it.
Oh,
Is that a
And I'm-
Tuesday? Or what is that?
I don't. I haven't,
I'm
not
going.
that
I'm
far ahead.
looking.
Go ahead.
That is
You're
a
the date-
Friday.
You're the date guy. Yeah.
ooh.
David did say it's called Star Wars Special Look. I know that they're doing that. It was on the main list, but I'm wondering if they've got something else up their
Do
sleeve.
you think they're gonna drop Boba that day?
I don't know.
Do you think they'll drop Boba without a trailer or release day? Like
That'd
say
be
it ahead of time?
crazy.
I mean,
That'd be like a Stranger Things drop. Remember Stranger Things season 2? They just dropped it on us and was like, "Here you go, have
yeah.
fun."
I don't remember that.
Really? They did that. It was like, "Hey, by the way, it's up. Go watch it on Netflix."
No,
And I was like,
that didn't
No,
happen.
it was legit. It was like they had no release date and it just showed up on Netflix and they say, "Hey, by the way, it's there." And they made
That's not true because I remember I planned ahead because
No, season 3 you planned ahead, but season 2 was like a drop.
no. Season two released on Halloween.
Yeah, but like they didn't say it. They just
Yeah, they
did
did.
it.
Yeah, they did because I
Really?
I
It-
planned for it. Yeah, I planned.
Yeah.
Micaiah and I planned to watch it on Halloween. The
What?
whole thing.
You're thinking of
am
that
I thinking of?
Cloverfield movie
Oh, I don't.
on from the Super Bowl. The third
Oh,
Cloverfield
maybe.
movie.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm
they're
also pretty sure that like
I swear they did that with
American pop artists have done that too. Like I'm pretty sure Beyonce did that one time.
Oh yes. Well, I mean,
Like it was either
There's
her
a-
or Rihanna. I don't remember, but like I remember waking up in like middle school or high school and people being like, "Yo," like they just
well,
dropped an
Eminem
album.
did that with one of his albums. It just
Yeah, like without
dropped.
any warning. So
That'd be dope. I'm down for random drops like that. That'd be fun.
but,
I mean-
but Stranger Things season 4 trailer is supposed to be rumored to come out any day now. So
I mean, we've kind of gotten.
we haven't gotten it.
Not
teaser.
really.
That's not what I
anyways.
want.
True.
At least
I-
you're honest.
But yeah, no.
But,
So that would be
yeah.
cool, but I doubt it. But
I mean, I'm not saying that it's like a rumor or anything, but it was just interesting that Star Wars posted that and was like, "Hey, you won't regret it." And I'm like, why would they be saying that about?
well,
Star
because
Wars, a
they did
special
say that Boba was December, so
Yeah.
like David in the chat said, he's putting money down. That's a trailer for Boba Fett, which I would assume that's more accurate.
We'll see you in November,
Yeah. It's
but we'll see you next week for Star Wars Visions.
true.
And
Visions.
on that note, you've been listening to another Wizard. I'm just gonna go with Wizard again. You've been listening to another Wizard episode of the Empire Radio Podcast. I'm Andrew,
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
and may the Force be with you.
Oh.